People in the south suburbs are mourning the loss of longtime leader Frank Zuccarelli. He was a supervisor in Thornton Township, chairman of South Suburban College, and Democratic committeeman there. He's been described as a faithful and devoted leader. Zuccarelli died today after a battle with cancer.
The Lansing Journal in Illinois is a news outlet that covers Thornton Township and all the townships in Thornton. It's been doing a great job in covering the reign of Tiffany Henyard, who now reigns as supervisor of the township. Now remember, she was elected mayor of DOLTON, Illinois, of the city of DOLTON, but she wasn't elected as the supervisor of Thornton Township. She was put there in that position by a vote. Now, it's very controversial because I'm going in today, and it may seem like I'm siding sometimes with Tiffany, but I'm not. I just want to make some points for people to really ponder and think about, right? Tiffany, she has a problem, and she needs to be out of office, and the feds need to investigate her, all of that. I agree with all of that. But I want to touch on some other stuff. Let's look into how Tiffany actually became the supervisor of Thornton Township and why. Check this out.
We're going to start at the beginning, which is not where most people think it is. The story actually begins on January 3 of 2022,
right,
which is the day that then Supervisor Frank Zuccarelli passed away,
right,
unexpectedly.
Yes, we were notified of that on that day, and we were able to talk to folks in the know and publish a story about that on the same day. He had been truly a real figure in the south suburbs for a very long time.
Right. And that is a significant part of the story because that set in motion everything that happened afterward.
Right.
Because the supervisor passed away, an appointment had to be made to fill his remaining term.
Right.
So it was up to the trustees at that time to meet and put forth candidates and arrive at a decision about who would fill Supervisor Zuccarelli's term.
That's right. That brings us to our next story, Melanie, published on March 1, 2022. Headline, Confusion Marks the Attempted Appointment of Zuccarelli Replacement. This is a story that you wrote.
Yeah, I was at this meeting, and this was, I think, the 5th or 6th meeting that the trustees had gone through since Frank's passing, and they still had not managed to come up with a recommended replacement that they could all agree on.
Yeah.
And there is a deadline for this.
Yeah.
I think they had 60 days, and they were aware of this deadline, and still things went right up to the deadline.
That's right.
So on March 1, they tried again to put forth nominations and agree, and the whole meeting was very confusing and nothing came out of it. The next meeting happened on March 3.
That's right.
48 hours notice is required whenever you have a public meeting, and so the meeting couldn't start until I think 10:30 or 10:55 in order to fulfill that 48-hour requirement and still accomplish the goal of appointing a supervisor before the midnight deadline.
On March 3. So yes, that started at 10:55. They had exactly an hour and 5 minutes to appoint a new supervisor, because if they didn't, it would go to the larger township public at large would vote for who they wanted to be the next supervisor.
And it was chaos.
Yeah.
And out of that, finally, the 9th person nominated was Tiffany Henyard.
11:48 p.m. Trustee Gonzalez nominated Tiffany Henyard, and we have that video. I believe we are the only video that's been published by the media of that moment, and we'll show it to you.
11:49. That's it. 11:49. I nominate Tiffany Henyard for Township Supervisor.
So Mr. Gonzalez voted to allow her in. And when I see this video of Tiffany, she doesn't look nothing like the Tiffany that we see once she got in the office. She was just so soft-spoken, so elated. It just looks nothing like what we thought. This is what we saw. Check this out.
Just been sworn in, and I asked, can I ask you a couple questions?
Josh
So
got the interview.
Stood there with my camera, and she answered some of my questions. She was very excited.
You've been voted the Thornton Township Supervisor. How do you feel right now?
Oh man, I'm overjoyed. I didn't see it coming. I love it. That means that I am truly blessed and everyone loves me. I love them. Thank you.
It seemed like a surprise to everyone in the room, just a surprise to you as well?
Yes.
Okay.
See, I'm still trembling.
So you hear these people talking. So Frank Zuccarelli was running that township for years. And so what they say, there was no problems because Frank had everything tight. Now there was people underground that was disgruntled with Frank, but Frank had his way. Some say he was corrupt. Some say that he was a good supervisor of the township. But this is the question that I asked. Frank passes away. The people can't come together to figure out who they want to put in that position. Tiffany Henyard was an afterthought. She wasn't even in thought at first, right? They were fighting amongst each other because they couldn't agree on who they want to put there, right? And at the last hour, they brought up Tiffany because they didn't want it to go to a farther vote. Why not? Why not? See, to me, I already know that there's a lot of corruption in cities across America. I told people do not leave comments into my comment section because I'm going after a black woman. I've said that in my videos, but I'm gonna say this now. Because there's thousands of corrupt cities with white folks and as elected officials that do all kinds of stuff, but they get judged as the individual. We get judged as the group. Now, do I want Tiffany Henyard out of there? Absolutely. But I believe that there was some serious corruption. They already understood that she was unqualified, but they put her there because they thought that they would be able to control her. And when she got there shaking things up. She didn't do nothing that they wanted her to do. They wanted to put somebody there that they can control because they was tired of being under the reins of Frank Zuccarelli. This is white politics. I'm going to call it for what it is, right? Because ain't nobody else going to call it out. We only get called out when we don't do the job right. But I'm seeing everything, right? So now this is them talking about the changes that Tiffany Henyard made when she came in, when she got in there, right? Check this out.
So we fast forward to the second meeting with Supervisor Henyard as the township supervisor, and the notable thing about that meeting, among a few other things, that she fired two people. One was in the Human Resources Department, and one was that was Jessica Jones in the Human Resources Department, and the other was Stephanie Wiedemann, who was the former executive assistant to Frank Zuccarelli. Stephanie had been part of the township for a very, very long time and was seen, according to Stephanie, was seen by Tiffany Henyard as a critic, as asking too many questions. And there was just a lot of confusion and uncertainty about, wow, why are we fired? The communication was unclear. So early on, there were already some red flags.
That was at meeting number 2.
Correct.
That Supervisor Henyard led.
Right.
All right, again, I'm not buying it. And I'm going to preface it by saying this. A lot of people over the past couple months that I've been reporting this have been putting in my chat, well, I don't see color and I don't see this, and that's a crock of crap and a lie. Because she's known as the black mayor, right? We do see color in this country. Let's stop being fake. This country was built on race, on racism and color. And division based off of color. Let's just be honest. So now she gets put in that position and she comes in and she fires two people. I'm kind of thinking that she might have been controlled and told to do that. Now she gets in this position, right? And you see how elated she was, and she fires Stephanie Wiedemann, who was the executive to Frank, an executive under Frank Zuccarelli, right? And she fires her. So now when she comes there and she fires this woman, this W woman, it's been a war between them two. I can't believe that this woman would come here and fire me. But this is the question I'm asking. I want y'all to put y'all thinking caps on and think. Just think for a minute. They couldn't agree. Thornton Township couldn't agree on who the supervisor would be. They were arguing and fighting amongst each other, and they wanted to keep it in a little huddle because they didn't want it to go up to the greater township to have a vote on it, because it would take the power away that they actually had. So they went and got an unqualified person that they can control. She came in firing people, shaking things up and doing her way and cutting them out. See, we already understand how politics works, especially in small towns. We don't have to be emotionally involved. I'm going to keep it real. Stop saying Please stop saying in my comment section about people voting based on color, because in this country, W folks was voting for color since its inception. There was a lot of times when people that looked like me couldn't vote or wasn't even allowed in, and we still have problems like that now. So don't say that vote based on colors, because W folks have been controlling polls and doing certain things in cities and towns for years, right? Is Tiffany Henyard corrupt? Do she needs to be taken out? Absolutely. I don't support Tiffany Henyard, but what I am going to talk about is corruption, period. Because I know as an African American, when one of our people mess up, we get judged as the whole group. So now they'll say, man, y'all better never put nobody that's black in those positions in those townships again. But then people will say that they don't see color. Yes, you do. Because you put that girl there when you knew she wasn't qualified to be there, so that way y'all can control the situation, and she wouldn't allow y'all to control her. And she's corrupt as hell, but y'all was corrupt for putting her there. Y'all think about it. It's a whole town. These people live there in the township. They know who should be up next or who's nominated to go take over after Frank dies. All of a sudden, you just put somebody that just somebody totally not qualified. What does that say about the people in the township? Or somebody's corrupt. Mr. Gonzalez, he has to fall on his sword. And he needs to be investigated. All of the people that voted to put her there needs to be a thorough investigation on them. Because I'm trying to understand why you wouldn't want that to go out to the greater vote. Huh? Why? We know that Tiffany is unqualified. We know that Tiffany is corrupt, but we want to know, why did she get there? Why couldn't you guys figure out who would take over from Frank and then in the last hour put her there? You think I'm stupid? You think we stupid? Yeah, I see color. All of us see color. Let's stop the bull crap. Let's cut the bull crap out. She's not the worst mayor in America. She's not. There's plenty of mayors worse than her. And to me, she came in just doing the status quo. The difference is she don't have the complexion for the protection. She came in doing what's been going on. But it's just been being covered up. So now she got to go, and she got to go. Because whether she's black, white, or red, corrupt is corrupt. But let's call for what it is. Why was she there in the first place? Huh? These are educated people, right? They do background checks. They do all that. Why was she there? Huh? Why couldn't y'all pick a person that can run the township after Frank died? Why did y'all get her? You think we stupid out here? But that's what I want to put out there. I see color. We all see color. We see, those of us that got our eyes open, we can clearly see what's happening here. We can clearly see what's happening here. So in Dalton, Illinois, we need to get a decent, proficient black person that can run the city, man. That's what they need. We don't need the Tiffany Henyards and the Keith Freemans and them. They got to go. But there's decent black people that can come and run that town. But I feel like when Stephanie Wiedemann and Jessica Jones and them got fired by this black woman, they wasn't having it. They wasn't having that at all. You ain't coming to our township and getting rid of us. I've been running with Frank for years. Who are you? And why did they put you here? That's where that started. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to Street Media TV. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.